Welcome, Scorpio and Scorpio cross watchers, to your reading for this week. Hope you guys are all having a good week. Scorpio. So we have the Five of Cups here. Scorpio, I feel like this card doesn't always come with quite as heavy of an energy, but from what I'm seeing, I feel like right now you seem to be having a hard time removing your focus from something that was very disheartening. I feel like sometimes this card talks about, looking at what you've lost and then kind of picking yourself up and getting ready to move on. And I feel like you're in a place where even though you know all is not lost, it's really, really difficult for you to pull yourself away from focusing on what has been lost. And it has this feeling of, it's almost like it was something that you felt you would never lose, right? It felt like it was something that was permanent. And I feel like that seems to be why you are still focused on this. I feel like it's more the disillusionment of it being lost that seems to be keeping you focused on it, right? It feels like for someone that's as intuitive as you, that feels people out as well as you do, for you to not see this coming, that seems to be what kind of has, for lack of a better word, have you kind of captivated with it, in that you're focused on it, right? Can we get one for Scorpio here? I feel too that whatever the situation was with you and this person, it almost feels like you were in a situation where you weren't able to kind of stand up for yourself somehow, right? It felt like at the time that the two of you were, like when the two of you were together and things were going well, that it almost had this energy of like the two of you were equally passionate, and it felt like you felt like you found someone that was on the same level as you, right? On the same wavelength. It felt like it was somebody that you didn't really have to explain yourself to, in that, like if something was going on over here, the two of you could look at each other across the room and you knew what the other person was thinking, and it didn't need to be said, right? And instead of needing to talk about it on the way home, I feel more that that one of you would just be like, "Did you see?" And the other one would be like, "Yeah, I know." And then you would be like, "Oh my God." Like, it wouldn't, I'm not explaining this well clearly. But there wouldn't even need to be full sentences spoken for the two of you to get each other. And I feel like that seems to be where a lot of that sorrow is coming from, because it feels like it's such a shame that whatever that connection was has been lost. And I feel like to a certain extent, it's almost like you were saddened when it happened, and the typical reaction that you would have had, it's not what really happened here, right? It's almost like if, for example, other people saw this connection fall apart, they would have been looking at you expecting, you to kind of hit back at this person, and you didn't. And I feel like that seems to be, it's almost like it made everybody go quiet because your reaction to it was so different. I feel for some of you, you may actually also be isolating yourselves a little bit. Can we get... Okay, so the Eight of Swords upright usually means that you're kind of, you're keeping yourself locked in this prison. But reversed, it feels more that it's almost like, how did this happen? I feel like if you're looking at the situation, I think you're going to realize that you actually, the reason that it feels disorienting and kind of like disillusioning, I feel like maybe you don't have all the information. I feel like you're kind of looking at it like when you're putting together the jigsaw puzzle of this situation, it feels like you're missing half the pieces, right? It just feels like for some of you, it may feel like you don't even have the four corners. So it feels like you can't really, it's that much more difficult to get started sorting it out. But whatever it is, I feel like part of you feels that way, and the other part of you is quite sad that this has happened. It feels like whatever the situation was, like it didn't, wow. I feel like you're looking at it like this whole situation, it didn't have to fall apart, right? It's like certain things could have been fixed. It didn't need to just, the baby didn't have to be thrown out with the bathwater type thing, right? Like it didn't have to all crumble to pieces. Hold on for a second. I feel like you maybe, excuse me, I almost said you may feel like you're wondering what you did wrong, but it doesn't quite have that tinge to it, if you will. Like you're looking at the situation wondering what you must have missed in order to have not seen this coming, right? So it's not, you're looking at it like, assuming that it's all your fault and you think this and that. I feel like you're looking at it more like, what did I miss? How did I not see this coming? Like what about the connection wasn't in line with how I saw it, right? And I feel like there may be situations where when you look back on this whole the circumstances as a whole, I feel like you're going to notice that there were some snide remarks that were made, but it was kind of passed off as like, oh, they were just joking. And I feel like you start looking at it wondering like, well, did they really mean it then? Right? Like, was that actually a joke? Were we just kind of, joking around with each other, or did they actually mean it? And I feel like you're going to actually start to see that this person, if you're somebody that has a very subversive sense of humor, and that you're okay with that kind of like equal give and take when it comes to that sort of stuff, I feel like you're going to maybe start to look at things wondering if this person actually meant a lot of the stuff that you thought they were joking about. And I feel like if that is something that makes sense to you after you give yourself some time to really contemplate it, I feel like it's going to really make you mad. Because it'll make you, it has this energy of like, it'll make your skin crawl a little bit because you'll be looking at it like, well, did this person make a fool out of me? Like, is that what was happening here? And I feel like there's a message here, like just pump the brakes for a second. And I feel like process the hurt that is involved here. And because I feel like once the hurt is processed and you're able to kind of work through that, I'm going to be honest, Scorpio, I feel like, at the end of the day, as it, if you will, you're not really going to care about any of this. I kind of see you here and like, there are some parts of this situation that you're not quite able to sort out exactly. And I feel like at the end of the day, you're just like, oh, F it. And you just kick all these cups into the river, right? It doesn't feel like you move on right away. Hang on and let me flesh that out a little bit. It feels more that it's like you're going to kick all this stuff to the curb and then just sit there and breathe for a minute and give yourself a minute to almost like become reacquainted with like the energetic flow of the world around you, right? Just kind of, I guess you could say like center yourself a little bit. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like there still is some resentment coming from you towards the situation, but it doesn't feel like it's going to any one person specifically. It feels more like that resentment is because you don't understand it. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like down the line. I know this might be annoying for some of you, especially if you're looking for answers now. Down the line, you're going to have those like aha moments like, oh, that's what that meant. That's what that person was doing, right? It's like something down the line will happen that you'll be thinking about the whole situation and you'll just have that, oh, that's what it was, right? So you are going to get the answers. You just aren't going to get them right now. And I feel like that's actually because if you knew all of the information now, none of it would make any sense, because it's almost like it's really nonsensical. Like it needs to be kind of like uncovered in little bits and pieces, because if you looked at it as a whole, I feel like you wouldn't even bother sifting through the answers, because there's nothing there for you. There's nothing that would do anything for you. And I feel like it would kind of make you like disheartened, more so than you already are, because there's no point. Anyway, I think I'll leave the reading there, Scorpio. I hope some of that made sense. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.